Welcome to E360 TV, the live streaming and on-demand destination for influential voices and enlightened audiences. We offer trending, grassroots, and purpose-driven content across a diverse range of interests. E360 TV is more than just watching programs. We offer the ability to interact with live shows connecting audiences to real, authentic influencers and storytellers while streaming to millions of devices. Real experiences. Raw conversation. One destination for it all. E360 TV.
Hello, hello, hello. I have a question for you. Have you ever felt completely lost? You know, seeking purposeful direction that could and should propel your mission within your divine journey to that next level, but still it hasn't happened. Well, my name is Lauren Michaels Harris, and I'm the founder of P3, the Journey Series. People come to me because they're wounded. Many are scared, and even there are those who are bruised simply because they feel that they are increasingly, for whatever reason, losing their ability to dream. Now, this P3 program is not for a person who's just looking to start a business, no, but rather for those of you out there who have been on your journey and you've been navigating within your divine purpose, but you still desire to elevate to that level that you have not reached yet. If this is appealing, if this describes you, then I want to have a chat with you. I want to hear your story. So use the link below to get registered for your free seat at P3, the Journey Series. And let's get started, one story at a time. I'll see you inside. Click the link.
Before you get it, baby, show me your soul. And honey, I'll show you mine. I'll show you mine. Oh, I'm standing right here holding up a sign, shamelessly displaying my state of mind. You walk right past me, pretending like you don't see what's yours for the taking tonight.
Hello, 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 hello. Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you? I'm a little, I may seem or appear a bit scattered this morning, and it's not just the ADHD running rampant. It is also the fact that our guest isn't here, and she was texting me this morning at 5 o'clock, 4:30 in the morning from the UK. So I'm hoping everything is okay. Clare Bradley is supposed to be here, but she is not as of yet. So you guys, let's just all throw some energy out, that some thoughts, some intentions, some prayers, if that's your jam, that everything's okay with her. You know, we shouldn't assume. How is she texting? She must fell back asleep. But it's not even morning over there. So I'm just hoping everything is okay. Okay. Our prayers are with you. If she shows up, we'll get her in here. If not, it's us. It's us. So happy Monday to you all. Dr. Lauren with you. And again, welcome to today's installment of Bathrobe Moments. Now, you know, some days I'll be honest with you. I love it when we have our time together because it does something for me. I may not have anticipated. You know, I sit there, I think Claire's going to be here, so that's what I plan for. But then the universe, God, what is greater than us, has different ideas. So it doesn't mean that anything is wrong with what's going to happen today. It just means that the schedule has been changed, if you know what I mean. So there's the bell of purpose. It's here every day, and I ring it on purpose throughout the broadcast because it is a reminder. I even think of it as an opportunity to lean in, to tune in, because we're all busy people nowadays, but the truth, it has a ring to it, just like that bell. So when I ring the bell, it means listen up. Something great is already here and more is on the way. Can I get an amen? I am going to be the first to kick that off. There it is. Amen. Amen. And where are my manners? Good morning. I see you, beautiful people. Come on in. 782 of you right now. And Dr. Lauren loves every one of you. I really do. So what are we going to talk about since there's no guest? Well, first thing is, I look around. What have I left laying out? Say good morning to my sidekick, Lucy McGillicuddy Ricardo. She's in the house today, as always. That coffee could be a little bit warmer. So anyway, look at this book entitled Every Day I Am Just Deaf. Life in a Hearing World with Deaf Queen Boss. This is one of my coaching clients, a young lady. Kalina Powell is her name. And this book is very interesting. Hold on. Live television. And my allergies. Oh, wait a minute. Doggone it. My inhaler. Not good. Is not here. I need it, but we're okay. We'll be okay. So anyway, Kalina's book. It's very easy to read. I don't know how much of this you can see. Okay. But she says in here like this, it's to educate people about don't make assumptions. Okay. The 4 agreements. Why do people use nice people? I've been used. Why? Is it because I have a disability? I don't get it. I can't stand hearing people. Wow. Excuse me. Why can't I get far in life? Why do I need to work 10 times harder than them? I've had enough. I can't get a break. But a break is never the answer. So what these are all some of the frustrations, some of the encouragements, all the things that passed through Kalina's head when she was deciding how far she was willing to reach in this world. So, a great book. And what I love about this girl is that she didn't let anything get in her way. And let's talk about that today. I'm going to pop a cough drop in so I can talk without coughing today. My allergies in the fall, they're just horrible. I'm doing my best, though. Can I get an amen? Thank y'all. So, listen, I wanted to just chat today. Let's just chat today. And I want to talk about manifestation. Let's do that. Let's talk about manifesting. So I'm going to put a banner in. So when people come in, that's my bowl. I don't have cereal today. I have watermelon, which isn't ripe enough for me. But I'm going to do my best, right? Monday. So I'm typing in, we are talking about manifestation. What are your thoughts? Okay. I'm just putting this banner up here.
since I'm here by myself today, we're talking about manifestation. So what are your thoughts? If you have any thoughts, put them in the comment section. What is that? Oh, I didn't know she was here. So let me wrap this part up. Claire's here. Yay, she's okay. Something about the time zones. Mm-hmm. Gotta love it, right? Listen, so we do have to do this. Came up for a reason, so let's go with it for a minute. Manifestation. I just want to say this to you guys, and I'm going to talk about it more and more and more because I have a lot coming up in my life in the future, in the near future, that involves young people who are indigenous to this world of AI and tech, whereas people my age, we're aliens. We came from a whole nother world. We really did. And so the ability that these kids have nowadays to manifest, they can manifest income and all types of opportunities in a matter of minutes that used to take people like you and me, if you're over 30, really 40. How about that? Well, let's just say before AI and before the internet. If you were born before that, we're the aliens now because we came from another world. And those kids, they're indigenous. And so I'm finding myself being beckoned to partner and do joint ventures with some of these brilliant young people. And a little intimidating because I don't feel like the brightest bulb in the lot, but we have things. Here's the good news for all of you like me who are the aliens. We possess gifts that these kids couldn't learn from their digital games and whatnot. They need real living human beings because AI does not possess a soul. We do. Okay, so that's how that is. So I'm going to keep you informed. I'm really excited. I'm serious because we need to talk more about this bridge between the modern world and the indigenous species of young people and those of us who are now the aliens who came from a world they never knew. Some of us, I was born when there was black and white TV only. I remember when TV used to go off at night and the little dot was in the middle of the TV screen. See? So yeah. Been a minute, y'all. See, we've been here for a minute. Right. And look at how different the world is. So the reason I'm talking about that and why we're going to talk about it more and more as the weeks go by is this. If you're like me, if you're over 40, start manifesting from a position of for 40 years from now. We're living longer. The world of today will not be the world 40 years from now. So I believe like when it comes to tech and AI and stuff, you got to treat it like you did math in school. If you couldn't just skip over geometry or algebra 2 and go straight to trig or analysis or any of those because you didn't have the building blocks to understand where you were. That's how I'm feeling we should take our approach as far as how we plan on navigating and the flexibility we have available to us in what will be the current world, which is the future world. So think now. There are a lot of tools that are aiding manifestations nowadays. Make sure you have your hands and your spirit in alignment so that you have access to the right ones. You hear what I'm saying? Because AI doesn't have a soul. So just remember, all money ain't good money. You know what I'm saying? So just use the things, the gifts that got you to where you are to attract the people and the opportunities to get you to who you need to become. Can I get an amen? Okay, there it is. We had to start because when, it all happened for a reason. I don't believe in mistakes that, Claire got the time or whatever. That ain't a mistake. That's the universe keeping our shit interesting. That's all it is. So I'm going to get her in here, okay? Because she's been patiently waiting in the green room and didn't know I could see her eating up all of those good donuts and the little things we left out. That was for somebody else, Claire, but I'm glad you enjoyed. I'm kidding. She didn't. Well, she kind of did. Here she comes. I'm just going to say, Claire, it wasn't me. It wasn't me that was saying, Where in the world is Miss Claire? And see how she did us? That was those 752 others out there. I'm kidding. And it is 752 of them. Good morning, everybody. Claire, we're glad you're okay.
Oh, sorry. I'm terribly sorry. I got my hours mixed up and everything. So
I already told him. I said she was texting me at 4 something in the morning over here. She uptown. Oh, hey. So I'm like, I hope she's okay. But we're glad you're here. Sorry we had to keep you waiting, but I believe that when things happen a certain way, it's for a reason. And we had started talking just a little bit on manifesting. So I believe someone out there needed it. So now you're here. And Claire, I didn't get to the bio or anything, but I'm going to do what we always do. And I'm going to dip out and let you have the stage for about 60 seconds. Just introduce yourself. Talk about Claire, you guys, is the anger management coach, you see. So I don't care about, but excuse me, what'd you say? Say it again. See what I'm saying? Just that quick. We can go from 0 to hero.
Yeah.
But that was, of course, I was kidding. But Claire, you are, in fact, an anger management coach. And I'm going to fill in the lines, pour into everybody, kind of get a vibe going that I can run with after I come back in. And we'll take it all the way to the top of the hour. Sound good?
Brilliant. Yeah.
Okay. All you, Clare Bradley. Go ahead.
Thank
Wait
you.
a minute.
So, are you ready?
Yeah. Okay. I'm ready. Bye. It's all you.
So hi. Thank you so much for waiting for me very patiently whilst I ate the donuts. So yeah, I'm Claire. I am an anger management coach. I spent 20 years, just short of 21 years, as a police officer in the UK in an area called Lancashire. Unfortunately, I got medically retired because I injured my back. And since then, I kind of just tried to find my missing jigsaw piece. That's how I call it anyway. And retrained, went through I went through life. I went through domestic abuse. I also, unfortunately, went through a gambling addiction that was brought on by medication. And when I went to speak to my doctor about it, to ask for help, I got nowhere and ended up trying to sort it out myself. And through the domestic abuse, through the gambling, I knew I had to change my life. And that is how I then went and trained as an NLP coach and decided I'm going to set up my own business to help other people and to own who I am, own what has gone on. Like Dr. Lauren said, we don't make mistakes. It's a journey. It's life, isn't it? I guess.
It really is. Well, Claire, okay, thank you for that. I'll tell you where I want to go. You were a police officer, and here in the States, and I'm sure in all kind of places, the policing goes to all kinds of different levels. We have 2 wars that we know of going on in the world right now. And we know here in the United States, there's an us and them. There's a huge divide. Defund the police, Black Lives Matter, and which is all, everybody's got something to say about everything. But I want to ask you about the anger piece as a police officer. We're just looking for a hypothetical here, of course, but let's just say you had 1,000 interactions with people as a police officer. How many would you guesstimate, if you had to take a number like 1,000, how many would you say had something to do, you would not have been in that conversation with that person or people if it had not been anger, if it hadn't been fueled by some form of anger? How many of those would you say out of 1,000?
Yeah, I'm going to do it as a percentage, I reckon. Okay. And I would say as a percentage of my day, it would probably be as high as about 90%, 80 to 90%. Because
could have been avoided had there not been that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So is anger just a person losing control?
So anger's an emotion, and anger is an emotion that piggybacks somebody else's other emotions. So it could be of a trauma that's happened to that person, that they don't feel that people listen to them, but they aren't aware that it's that emotion that is being hijacked. So the anger comes out because they don't know how to communicate that other emotion. And unfortunately, because we don't know how to let it out, it's like that pressure cooker of it just builds up and it builds up and builds up until we're not prepared to either take anymore or we physically can't, and it just bursts out. And then literally everybody gets it.
Yeah. So have you I don't know if I want to. Yeah, I'm going to go with it. So, do you believe anger is dangerous only, or is there a positive side of anger? Is
So
there
there is
anything positive about anger?
So it's one of the only emotions that does have a positive side. So when you look at that, if you were to say, yeah,
You would
ding,
not think that.
no, not at all. But if you think about assertiveness, if there's ever been a time where you've needed to be assertive, and I mean, you wouldn't believe it, but prior to joining the police, I had no confidence whatsoever. I would literally be on my mum's skirt tails behind her, and
Peeking around.
yeah,
Oh,
absolutely waiting for somebody else to say it. And it would only be if I needed to be assertive, so that anger's creeped up, for me to then have the courage to speak out. So that is the positive to it.
yes, yeah. And I just want to say this. I can trace back when I was a kid. I was bullied because I'd be like, "Sissy, sissy, you grow
Yeah.
like a girl," all that stuff. Anyway, and I would never fight back. My family would be like pushing me, "Get, don't let him talk to you like that," you know. But then because what they were saying didn't make me angry.
Yeah.
It didn't feel good. If I would have had my way, I would have rather gone without it. But it didn't make me angry enough to want to fight. But let it be someone else, some other little kid or something, or someone getting picked on.
Yeah.
Suddenly, I could jump and move and stand in front of them and everything.
Yeah.
And that's really where I began to understand that I was chosen for a life of service to others.
I love that.
You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
anger in that situation showed me something in people I did not like.
Yeah.
And it helped me get a start, I believe, in the work I do today. So yes, I believe you're right that it has both. It has both. And it's most of us don't think of it this way. So let's go to the you said physical. No, you said how did you describe your relationship? What type of abuse?
Domestic abuse.
So
So
did you mean like verbally, physically, all of it, or everything?
yeah. So in the UK, it used to just be called domestic violence, which obviously would be the physical. And then they understood that it was more than violence. It would be the psychological, the financial, sexual, psychological. I don't know if I said that, but there's lots of different terms to it. So it's classed as domestic abuse in the UK. And I was in a same-sex relationship, and it was very psychologically abusive, with gaslighting, to the point that I've never suffered with anxiety, but I wouldn't know whether I was upside down, standing on my head, or what, because I was just told I was such a bad person. And I tried to leave that relationship so many times. And in the end, they said, get out. And you know what? That was the best thing that they ever did, because it allowed me. And it was only them, in their mind, allowing me to go.
Get out because you don't have what it takes to do this work. Is that kind of what, you're just not cut out for this, kid? That kind of thing?
Get out because you've done wrong.
Oh.
You've wronged me. And it was like, it was all very paranoid. There was a lot of paranoia and all sorts going on their part, that I was this terrible, terrible person. And
so you had no confidence prior to going into the police work where you found some semblance of confidence, and then they say, get out. So what happened to the confidence when you got the boot? Did it go with you, or did you leave it with the police experience?
So so what I've just talked about, the domestic abuse, that was in a personal relationship. But the confidence in leaving the police, that definitely went with me. Definitely.
Because I'm thinking what I'm getting at here is because the relationship, where does it fall in the timeline? Were you in the relationship while you were in the police work?
No.
The relationship came after the police work.
Yeah. So I left the police. Sorry.
That's why I'm asking, because were you with a narcissist?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And they feed on people with a lack of confidence. So you said the confidence went with you, which means it would have gone into, or did you think you had confidence, or your confidence in some areas and not in others? Tell us how that played out.
Perhaps. And I guess that's it as well. And you would think that as a police officer, if there's anybody that's, you've vanished.
No, I'm letting you have the stage.
Oh, right. If anybody is going to know what domestic abuse is, it's going to be a police officer. But as you said before, when it's a narcissist, they draw you in, and and all I kept thinking was, you were not the person that I met all those months, years previous. The person that is now sitting in front of me and is calling me names and telling me I'm not good enough and completely belittling me is literally hacking away at any confidence of myself.
So why do I have the feeling that, because it's never about just one thing, you guys, seriously, no matter where you find yourself, you will go, why would God have me in this situation with this horrible person or these horrible people? Sometimes it's so you get a clear-cut, real life, real-time experience of the person you can never become. Or in Claire's case, it leads you to the work you were called to do, not what you get paid for, but that thing that you were made for. See, because the thing you were made for isn't on the roster at some college. It's not a degree from University of whatever. You see, it's not a workshop. You can go, it was already assigned and designed for you as your divine gift, your passion, i.e., your purpose. So did the anger of the other person fuel your work? Is that how you got pushed into the work you do today?
Yeah. So I ended up literally getting my son. So my son was 20. My son and I in the car. We literally had our clothes in black bin bags, and we drove
You had them in what?
Black bin bags. So refuge sacks.
A black bin bag. We have no idea. So it's like a knapsack?
Like, your
trash bag.
Yeah.
Okay. Say it again. What do y'all call it?
Bin bag.
A black bin bag that you put in the trash bin. Got it. Okay.
Yeah. One of them.
Ding. Oh my God, I speak England. Go ahead.
So I had those things in the back of my car.
Were you running? Were you escaping?
I was told to get out and get out now.
Oh.
Yeah.
Not tomorrow. You got a week, 30 days.
Yeah.
Get your ass out right now.
Yeah.
What time of day or night was this?
It was about 7 o'clock at night. I had just finished a 12-hour shift. I'd been up very early in the morning. I'd travelled quite a distance throughout the UK that day. And then I had to now make a 5-hour journey back.
Okay. So when you got the order to march, and you have a child, a minor child at that time?
No, he was 20.
He was 20.
So
okay.
An adult.
Okay. So he's there but still a responsibility for another human.
Yeah.
So did you lose your cool?
No, not at
Bitch,
all.
who you putting out? Put me out. I ain't going nowhere. Call the police. Okay. So that didn't happen.
No, because I was, in some respects, and I'm not saying I played it cool, I didn't, because
But
our
why? Let me
emotions
ask you. Let me tell you why I asked that, Claire.
yeah.
Because when you described and laid out your day, that's what that kind of day is what a lot of us use as an excuse for
Yeah.
blowing my cool. I had been driving on, I had just done a 12-hour shift, my corns were hurting, you know what I mean? Right. I hadn't eaten nothing. Every
Yeah.
little thing that could go wrong happened. And that's an excuse we use for blowing our
Yeah.
top, which can make
Yeah.
a bad situation because she already brought her own shit to the table. And now
Yeah.
you could have brought yours and it could have been a lot worse.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's people in jail for the rest of their lives
Yeah.
because they didn't do what you did and just say, okay, I'm going to go.
Yeah. But for me at that moment, I knew that this was a way out. So I was willing to take that. I was like, I'm off.
So wait a
And,
minute.
and as
You
Laurie
needed
just
an
said,
excuse to leave?
I didn't need an excuse. They gave me,
Right.
as someone put in the comments, that door. They just let me go. And
Well,
I
why?
needed
Well, that's what I'm getting at, Claire. Are you saying before she said get out, had you considered leaving on your own?
I tried to about 5 times, and this is what they do in domestic abuse. They won't let you leave, and because you as a victim think, I need to go make this right and I need to do better, you go back. This is the whole cycle of domestic abuse, is they make promises, they say they won't do it again, and unfortunately we fall for that because we love that person.
So what do you think she was angry about or at? And that's a good way of putting it. Think about it. Are more people inclined to be angry at something or about a situation? That's different. I mean, at someone or the situation.
I don't even think they were angry. There had been no situation. There had been nothing. But she had just come home from work and was walking around and like putting me on eggshells. So I knew something was triggering her.
Okay.
And it was me.
Okay. Right there. Perfect spot for what I wanted to segue into, which is the mental health aspect of anger.
Mm-hmm.
When we hear anger leading to mental health diagnoses, it's usually things like bipolar, schizophrenia, where people will smile in 1 second and then I'll kill you right in the next. Narcissistic behaviors,
Mm-hmm.
that sort of thing. So did you ever think maybe this person has a mental health thing, or were they in some kind of treatment for something and it comes with my package, otherwise known as my baggage?
They had my baggage. Definitely my baggage. They had a matching set of my baggage, let's put it that way. And they probably had a U-Haul of my baggage as well. There was a lot going on for them that they should have had some treatment for, but because of the type of person, they weren't prepared to get that.
So you didn't see this?
Only after I had moved in.
I heard that.
Because
They have a
yeah.
real knack at pulling off the mask after they got you stuck to the flypaper.
Absolutely. And it is almost like that revelation of the front door shuts, and then suddenly, ta-da, the mask's off, and there they are. And it's like, whoa, you weren't what I signed up for.
Lori Whitney says, be glad it's over.
Absolutely.
Are you glad it's over?
More than glad it's over. And it has taught me so much. And as you said at the start, it did get me to where I am now. Because within 4 weeks of me moving out, and I like to call it moving out rather than being put out, I was working with perpetrators of domestic abuse. So I was working with people exactly like the one I'd just left. But I was working to get them to change their behavior.
how do you why do you how and why did that happen? How did that happen so quickly, you think?
It just was there. It was, I needed a job. I had never been unemployed before and I needed to work. So I was looking up for jobs and
The one you
found,
land is
yeah,
helping people. Now that sure sounds like purpose to me.
yeah.
What about y'all? Put it in the comments, right? So, is that how you took it? Like,
Yeah.
what are the odds?
Yeah, literally 4 weeks later, I was walking into a behaviour change role, working with perpetrators of domestic abuse, and I loved it. And I can't emphasize that enough. I loved it because
Wow.
seeing the change that you could make in somebody's behavior just by sitting down and talking and listening to them and listening to why, what was their why were they being like that?
To someone else.
Yeah.
And what was some of the stuff you heard them say as their justification?
So initially, they would try to justify it and say some things like, well, I did it because she did X, Y, and Z. But that would,
Discounting.
yeah, victim blaming. And that would be shut down very quickly by me because I'm responsible for my behavior. You're responsible for your behavior. If I do something, that's on me.
Let's talk about that accountability piece for a second.
Yeah.
How difficult was it on a scale of 1 to 10 for you to get somebody to finally acknowledge their own contribution to the problem?
I think it depends on the person, but I would say a 3 or a 4. So not that difficult.
So not that difficult.
If you say it in the right way and you make it absolutely apparent that we're not standing for that, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can leave that bullshit at the door because I'm not falling for it and I'm not being coerced into listening to that. You are being responsible for your actions.
How did you not get triggered? Like when some things would come out of the person's mouth that sounded exactly like the person you had just left. Because it seems like from what I've done, as far as interviews with people in these situations, I've done a few. It's almost like they have a playbook they go from.
Yeah.
So did you hear stuff that was like,
yeah,
you sound just like my ex? Did you have to catch yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, it was almost like every single day I was reliving what I'd left, to the point that I guess I then just had to see that these people are not sitting in front of me because of actions towards me. There's something going on in their life towards somebody else, but it's not me. So, and I think that's where the police officer of me was able to kind of take a step back and have that professionalism almost in between us, of that barrier of, you've got to stay professional, Claire. You have not got to judge. And that was the important thing for me, is don't judge it. Don't judge it, because if I start to be judgmental, they're not going to change their behavior. And that was the important thing.
Yes, I can definitely get that. And many of us, you guys, we don't have to be counselors and stuff like Claire was to be able to relate to when we rush in and bring our own dirty, like we track in our own version of anger by being too aggressive or not respecting boundaries, not making assumptions, all the different things that are principled, because we can't break principles, but we certainly can find ourselves broken against them. So what I'm getting at is this. It's like getting the person to listen without standing with their dukes up. So like, instead of, you wanted to go like this, okay, look, okay, I don't want any trouble. So it seems like you would have to be the first person. to show your hands and go,
Yes.
when people say stop as a policeman and you go, you tell them put their hands up, because it's like you're saying, look, okay, I am acquiescing. I am agreeing. I'm going with this. I'm cooperating.
Yeah.
So, but you don't literally get to see their hands, but it's what you should go for.
Yeah.
So that means you have to bring it in a non-confrontational way. Did you feel like you almost had to trick them?
No.
Okay. So what was the defining thing?
Let me give you an example then. So I had a chap who so we always had to ring them up to do an assessment with these people. And I had rung him to do an assessment, and he came on the telephone and he was straight away like screaming and shouting down the phone at me, and which kind of put me off guard. And he was saying, "You're calling me a monster," and all this lot. And I hadn't said anything of the such. But what I did was I let him run out of steam. So I just let him say and get off his chest what he needed to do. And then all I said when he'd finished was, "It sounded like you needed to get that off your chest. How does it feel now that you've said all of that?" And I literally said it with that tone, that intonation, that non-judgmental. I wasn't coming back at him. It was just pure conversation. And he just said, "I did actually. I feel so much better now I've said that." And because I had allowed him that time and that space, because like he said, social care, they don't listen to me. Probation, they don't listen. The police, they don't listen. You're the only person who has heard me. And I think that's all it is just to be the person who I'm not agreeing with what they've done. I'm not telling them, yes, that's great. You should do that. You should stand your ground, and you should be saying X, Y, and Z. I've got
She
a
just
dog.
kept meowing, so I was like, she wanted some attention. Sorry. This is Lucy, everybody. Say hi, Lucy.
Hi, Lucy.
Go on.
But that was all, was just to actually give them some space and not to judge them in those initial, well, not to judge them at all, but in that initial moment is to just allow them to talk and to build that relationship. Yeah.
So how do you feel about what, we hear it all the time, hurt people. And usually when you really take the time and you listen to someone who's, say, the bully, you find out that they, in many cases, have been bullied or are currently being bullied somewhere in their world themselves. Did you find examples of that?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think literally we only worked with men, and that was purely because of the funding. We were only given money but because we were a charity, and we know that domestic abuse does occur where women can also be perpetrators, but we just weren't.
Yeah, you knew that firsthand.
Absolutely, yeah. Don't. Which is mad. But
did you ever share that? I'm just curious. Did you ever share with any of the people you were working with? Like, look, I came out of it. I had it. Yeah, I had a domestic violence encounter. So you would share that too.
Yeah.
And how did that play into the trust game?
I think they respected me for it.
I thought so. Yeah.
Because I was just, I think in some respects they saw me as this lady that they could come and speak to, who wasn't judging them, wasn't giving any opinions. I was literally there and listening, and I was giving them strategies to help them. So because they could see that was working, they trusted me. So if we were trying to talk about something in domestic abuse and they weren't quite understanding the impact of that, then I might say, that happened to me in my relationship, and this is how it made me feel. And that would be the impactful bit.
Okay. I can see
because
that.
They take it from me.
Yeah. So, okay. That was a charity. And so the people you dealt with, for the most part, they chose to at least try to get help.
Mhm.
But what about, because here in the United States, we have a lot of court ordered anger management where people are forced to go. My husband's a therapist, and he gets people all the time that have to be there, you know. And so
Yeah,
you got to get through all that. Well, I'm here, but I don't
absolutely.
care. I ain't gonna do nothing. Right. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So how different is the work you do in your anger management coaching, okay,
Mhm.
as opposed to what somebody might get from a court ordered like therapist where they just sit there and go, you know what I'm saying, or whatever goes
Yeah,
on, go to
yeah.
class or whatever. What is the difference?
So the difference with the charity was that was all court ordered because it was specifically domestic abuse.
Oh, so it was court ordered. Oh.
Yeah. And we could only work with the people who passed the assessment. So we would quite often get a lot of people that would sit there
How did a
doing that
person flunk
whole
how did a person not pass the assessment? Sorry, you
by
didn't pass.
so they wouldn't admit things. If they didn't admit their behaviors, they were not accepted because it was a behavior change program and you can only change a behavior if you're accepting you're doing it. So
Ask
it,
one of the questions you might ask about that would get them to accept behavior.
okay, so one of the questions, have you ever punched, hit or slapped your partner?
Yeah, after that bitch called me, yeah, a lot of times, but it was because she deserved it. She asked for it. She had it coming.
Yeah, so I would then write that down word for word. And then I would call you up and say, but what about your behavior? So let's leave her behavior to one
Excuse
side.
me? My behavior?
Yeah.
Oh my
and
God, I don't think I could do it.
But honestly, it would be a case of challenging them. Just challenging it.
Wait a minute. Something just dawned on me. All this time we've been here talking about domestic violence, I am thinking the couple. But domestic violence is also it could be an adult child or anyone living in the home.
Absolutely.
Grandmama, the cousin, whoever.
Yeah.
So why is it when we hear that term domestic violence, we pretty much go straight to, because when it comes to children, you usually hear abuse.
Yeah.
And you think abuse, but domestic violence isn't usually associated with children. Why is that?
I think, like you say, I think it's an old thing of we see it on the news and we see it as domestic violence between partners. We see it, on the TV, on social media, and it's always between partners because that's where it's prevalent. And that's where the work that we did was always between intimate partners. There wasn't anything between parent and child, which
Yeah,
you'd think there would be, wouldn't you?
Yet, because oftentimes it trickles down if it gets, it's like
Yeah.
a wildfire. It burns out of control.
Yeah, absolutely. And I remember one particular person who had been referred through to us who had slapped their stepchild, but because that wasn't their intimate partner, we couldn't work with them.
See?
Yeah, so there's a loophole there of, well, who is working with them? And then I've got this perpetrator who thinks they've not done anything wrong because I'm saying, I can't work with you.
Right. There's nothing wrong. Right. See, she told me she couldn't work with me because nothing was wrong.
Yeah.
Right. Told you I didn't have a problem. Told you.
Yeah.
Oh,
told you I didn't have a problem.
Yeah, that's a good one. So let's talk about how people choose to say, I want to work with a Clare Bradley. What are some of the signs? You might need some anger management counseling or coaching if you
are struggling to control those emotions, if your emotions are controlling you, then you need to be looking at, how can I get some help? Look at the things that are triggering you. And you will know if you feel completely out of control and you cannot speak to a partner, whether that is an intimate partner, whether that's a relative, whether that's somebody at work, if you only have to, I don't know, travel in the car and someone cuts you up and you're screaming and shouting and you're just losing it, then do you know what? You need a bit of help. Because we all know if we need help, we know it.
Okay. Got any openings? I'm just kidding. Well, because I was just telling somebody I was on the phone with. I had a call last night for 2 hours. I was driving from Michigan to Illinois, and all of a sudden, I'm not talking to him. I'm screaming at the people darting in and out at the. We can barely move. It's bumper to bumper, but they got to jut in and I'm like, I said, you know what? Because this is an AI guru. I was on the phone. I said, why don't you come up with something where I can just like put in the license plate number, Google, open mic for license plate number, and it's, are you crazy? What the hell do you think? Don't you know what a signal is? Damn. And then, but don't let them know which car it's coming from.
Somewhere in the vicinity.
Can you imagine if we could talk inside the cars from car to car? It'd be mayhem.
There'd be even more crashes.
Because we all do that. So, and we're laughing about it, but let's see. Is that a warning sign, really? If you're in your car minding your own business, nobody can hear you, but you screaming, because we've seen people, you're next to them and you can see them.
Yeah. Absolutely, right? It is. So many people, whenever we talk about anger, as soon as I say road rage, everybody's like, yeah, get it. It's the one thing that everybody can identify with.
Yeah. So go ahead.
But yeah, it is like you watch people, you might just accidentally cut someone up, and it is an accident. You didn't mean to do it, but then they literally, you're bumper to bumper with them for about the next 10 miles down the road.
Let's do this before we get out of here. It's important. I just download. Here we go. Take us out on this one, if you could, Claire. And you guys, we have Claire's website, I believe. Yes. Mm-hmm. Is this right, Claire? angermanagementcoach.co.uk. Yeah. Okay. So we're going to let that run, you guys. And we're also going to take the liberty of dropping that very link directly into your comment section. So don't worry about it. At the conclusion here, you're going to be able to just click over and check Claire out if you don't want to take a snapshot of your screen if you're not using your phone. Okay. But Claire, what about being angry at ourselves? A lot of what we've talked about here in the time we've had together has been about anger we direct to another person or another person directs to us. What about that internal anger that we carry about somebody who's dead and gone, or somebody who we haven't seen in 40 years? But you see what I'm saying? I have siblings from my adoptive family who have not spoken in 50 years.
Yeah.
And they're in their 80s now and still stubborn. I don't think they even remember what they were angry at. So in these cases, when a person still holds on, is it because you think what do we do when we're angry at ourselves, Claire? What do we do?
I think, again, so going back to what we said at the start, is there's something there that anger's piggybacked onto. So it might be an emotion of feeling that something's unfair, or that you've been hard done to, or that there might actually be a trauma in the past. And that just keeps being triggered when you see a particular person. It might not even be anything that person's done. It might be a particular aftershave, a particular perfume that they wear, when you see or smell them, boom, it's triggered.
That's right.
So if it's that, if there's anger in yourself about something that you don't even know, it's just there, I would suggest you need an anger management coach.
That was a smart one. That was really great advice, Claire. Seriously. You took me back to my husband upstairs. If he was here, he could attest to this. When we first got married, we'd be driving back and forth to the summer place in Michigan between this house and that one. And out of nowhere, excuse me, on the highway, for years it would happen. And I didn't even know, but he's a therapist, so he helped me through it. I could not stand the smell of spearmint because my first abuser, when I was in foster care, chewed spearmint gum while he was in the act. And it was the most disgusting smell on the planet. It replaced skunk. You know, it replaced rotten eggs. You name it, right?
Yeah.
And it would literally make me physically sick. I'd have to pull the car over, open the door, and you know what? Simply because of a trigger from a word or something disassociated. Just amazing. So what I'm getting at, sometimes if a person comes to a person like you, just to find out, to like follow the breadcrumbs back to the proverbial scene of the crime. Can you help with that, or is that out of your?
Absolutely. Okay. So we do timeline work. So I use NLP, neuro-linguistic programming.
That's what got me started.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's so brilliant. I use it on myself.
Yes.
And the brilliant thing about NLP is that once you've done it, you can just keep coaching yourself. You won't need a therapist forever. And it's just about learning it and learning the techniques. So there's timeline techniques in NLP where you can go back, you can go forward. It's amazing. So, and definitely it can help with looking at, right, where has this come from?
Yeah. So
why
that
am I doing like this?
Right. And this is so important, you guys, as we get out of here today. Remember this. Don't be afraid to go back and return to the proverbial scene of the crime. When trauma enters our life, I'm a firm believer of this, and I'll stick to it till the day I die and beyond. Know this. Whenever trauma moves into your life and it touches you, be encouraged. That was the exact moment that what you believe to be greater than you, God, Spirit, Source, the universe, well, that's when they marked you for greatness. Take that with you today and come back every day, Monday through Friday. I hope to see you tomorrow, God willing. I'll meet you right over on the front porch where together we'll have yet another illuminated conversation right here on Bathrobe Moments. Clare Bradley, thank you so much. Very informative, very insightful. Sorry we lost some time. That just means we'll have to bring you back.
Yay.
Okay, great. Hang out backstage. I want to properly say goodbye to you. And you guys, I will see you tomorrow. Get out there today and be the best version you can be of yourself. Find one E and one R, and you take great to greater, bright to brighter, smart to smarter, and my personal favorite, kind to kinder. I'm Dr. Lauren, and don't let my screen door slam on the way out. As I tell you, as always, I love you, and there's not a damn thing you can do about it. I'll see you tomorrow. Have the best day ever. See you guys. Thank you, Clare. Great job. Great job. Yeah. Bye, everybody.
Show me your soul. Baby, I'll show you mine. Show me your soul. Honey, it's way past time. How expensive do I have to be? Need I spell it out before you get it, baby? Show me your soul.